is Sunday, June 2nd. I am currently headed to go work on my book. And generally I try not to work on the weekends, but if you've been watching these daily updates, I guess essentially since October, I have been working almost every weekend. But one thing I try to do is I try to make sure that one weekend day is no work. So yesterday, I ended up getting invited to a special screening of Ultraman. I didn't realize at the time, but I honestly just thought that it was going to be a screening, so I didn't really think that much of it. And then when I arrived, there was like a whole reception thing happening with different activations. I got a baseball that you could personalize, and then they had a claw machine and all this food, an ice cream station, bingo, and the cast was there, which I also didn't realize. I saw a bunch of people I knew and felt kind of embarrassed that I didn't really get ready, but that's okay. I went to the screening, and then I didn't realize it, but there was actually a Q&A that was happening afterward that I didn't stay for because I saw other people leaving. So I thought that was when we were supposed to leave. I think I'm also realizing I'm still jet lagged. Wanted to give myself enough rest for today. That was yesterday. And then Friday, I actually ended up graduating from my small business class. I feel like there will be a shift in June, but a lot of May, the general theme of my life felt like my time is not my own. Friday, graduated from the small business class, and I have this habit where I literally procrastinate until the very last second. The hope was that I was going to draft up my pitch on Thursday and then be ready for Friday. I think I got distracted by other things. I was also pretty tired on Thursday, so Friday on my commute there, I recorded speech to text, the first version of it. And I think it went okay. I filmed it so that I could remember that moment. Friday, it was emotional. I didn't realize how many other people in the program were going through tough things. Definitely some tears. We did a collective toast at the end where everyone got to share something. And I think I'm going to really miss this group. I'm excited to see where all of our businesses are. A year from now, a couple of years from now, I hope we stay in touch. Then a couple of us went out for celebrations afterward, and I got a ride home. And I got home maybe around 9:15, 9:20. But I've been pretty impressed with myself because I generally haven't been the best at jet lag, and I got back from Turkey on Tuesday night, had a speaking engagement on Wednesday, and a couple of meetings as well, because that was essentially the only day I had free that entire week, because Thursday we also had a full day of the small business program. Both days, Thursday and Friday, I had 2 cups of coffee, a can of Pepsi, some Lipton iced tea, or actually it was Brisk, it wasn't even Lipton. And it was great to see everyone's pitches too, and to see how far we've come since the end of February, early March when we started this program. And Wednesday night I got invited to Modern Day Wife magazine launch. And usually I try not to flake on things like that, but I think it was just too ambitious to try to go to that, especially after just coming back and being kind of jet lagged. I spent the majority of Tuesday traveling, 14-hour direct flight. It was actually pretty impressive. I think I watched a couple movies. I worked on book review stuff. And when I was tired, I slept. So I feel like I used the time well. And then right when I arrived, the case of the missing yoga mat, I went straight from the airport to go pick up the yoga mat and then headed home. Monday was the wedding. Earlier that day, I got a hammam Turkish bath, and I decided to get the full one that included a massage, and we got a gift afterwards, so I got a Turkish bath towel, which I also used as a scarf. The wedding was really fun. I'm glad I got to go and see my friend, and got to see a lot of friends that I've known for half of my life. definitely left that kind of reflecting on how incredible it is to be able to stay in touch with that group, and then also like shocked that I've known these guys for half of my life. Sunday there was a Bosphorus boat tour. In the morning I ended up going on a tour of the Topkapi Palace and then had lunch with Eche around, who is one of the global shapers. She's a global shaper, and we served on this like equity and inclusion steering committee back in 2019. So it was kind of cool to be able to go to Istanbul and see her and catch up. We grabbed lunch, the Bosphorus boat tour, and then I ended up going out. We grabbed like a drink afterward, which ended up becoming like more drinks afterward. I've definitely like scaled back a lot on drinking recently, but it kind of like brought me back to college in some ways. Stayed at home. I think like my last 2 nights there, I was out until like 2 or 3 in the morning. Saturday was kind of like the welcome reception, hosted at my friend's mother-in-law's art studio. That was essentially like my first time seeing everyone. A lot of these guys I hadn't seen in like 6 years, but some even longer. So got to see them, took the metro home, and then I called it a night. Friday, I think the flight was like 9 to 10 hours from New York, and I flew out on the night of the 23rd, which was my last daily update. And the last daily update I filmed in the morning. I spent most of the day like calls, trying to get some work done before hopping onto this flight. Once I arrived, got settled into my Airbnb, met up with a global shaper for dinner, and then we grabbed a drink that night, and then called it a day. But I feel like I made the most of my time in Istanbul. It was a quick trip. I had deadlines for the small business class on like midnight on Monday and midnight on Tuesday. The Monday deadline was like the morning that I was getting ready to fly out. And kind of reflecting on it, I feel like by the tail end of the program, there were just too many things going on. I felt like I didn't really give it 100%. What I am grateful to know now is that we have the framework and we have all the materials available to us, is that we can apply this similar framework to any type of growth plan that we end up deciding to pursue in the future. I have been in like perpetual catch-up over the last couple of weeks. I feel like this week is the week that I'm going to be able to catch up. I've got a couple more weeks until my next trip, and I'm looking forward to being in one place for a little bit.